Hey there, and welcome back to Utility Sports. We do have some breaking news. Quin Snyder is planning on stepping down as the head coach of the Utah Jazz. Now, this is some big news. Now, Quin Snyder had quite a bit of success during the regular season, had a little bit of struggles in the postseason, but nevertheless, he finished with a collective record of 372 and 264. So overall, a very successful stint with the Utah Jazz. Definitely a coach that was well respected around the NBA. He came from the Atlanta Hawks organization when he was assistant. And then 2014, 2015 was his first season as the head coach of the Utah Jazz. Now, looking at this, he did a lot of really good things with the Utah Jazz. Let's not get that twisted. We've seen some great defensive teams under Quin Snyder. A lot of that having to do with the impact that Rudy Gobert had, and he was absolutely instrumental in developing him. And Donovan Mitchell obviously blossomed into a star before our very eyes. And unfortunately, we've seen their season come to an end early, at the hands of the Dallas Mavericks. Now, looking at what the Utah Jazz have been, they've been a very, very good regular season team, and they've faced some tough stretches in the postseason. We've seen, 2 years ago, them fall to the LA Clippers after Kawhi Leonard had torn his ACL, and a lot of people felt like they should have won that series. They definitely felt like they were in a good position with Kawhi Leonard out. Paul George and Reggie Jackson were able to carry the Clippers over the Jazz in that series, and then now more recently here against the Dallas Mavericks. So this is something we felt something was going to break with this organization. There was going to be some domino to fall first. Quin Snyder exiting here out of Utah was the very first step. Now, my question is, does Rudy Gobert get dealt now? Is it Donovan Mitchell that gets dealt? I think more so it would probably be Rudy Gobert rather than Donovan Mitchell, but we don't really know at that point. It's tough when you have those two stars playing for this team. It's tough to split them up considering what you have. Now, are you going to get the value you want out of those, star players? Who knows? We're not exactly sure where they stand with that. Part of it very well could be, what's the next head coach look like? Who are some of the guys that are going to be in the mix for that head coach position? Can it be a guy like Kenny Atkinson? I'm not exactly sure, what that head coaching search might look like. However, there's going to be a couple of guys at the top of their list. I'm excited to see, where they're looking. Maybe they're looking at a potential in-house name, or are they looking for somebody outside of the organization as it currently stands, which is very, very likely, in my opinion, that they're going to be looking elsewhere. A lot of really good hot assistant head coaches that very well could get the job in Utah. They have a lot to build around. They got a lot of assets in terms of, what they could flip a guy like Rudy Gobert for if they wanted to kind of reconstruct the roster more so in their image. So Quin Snyder exiting here, my thought is he very well could land another head coaching job right away. I'm not exactly sure, where that might be, but there's a couple of teams that could definitely use his services. A very, very successful head coach with his time at Utah. Once again, some of the downfall came during the postseason. Now, I don't think that should deter a team, that's been struggling for sure. I think teams that have been struggling over recent years should definitely give him some consideration. And I think he will be coaching in the NBA next season. So that is something that is noteworthy here when it comes to Quin Snyder. Obviously there's a number of teams like Charlotte that very well could be considering him, which I think I'd like that probably the most. Charlotte struggled a little bit defensively last year. Quin Snyder is a defensive-minded head coach, and I think that transitions a little bit for the Charlotte Hornets. So that's a team I want to keep an eye on heading into next season. Once again, Quin Snyder is stepping down, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens next for the Utah Jazz. If you guys do enjoy this kind of content, hit that subscribe button. Also, leave a like on today's video if you did enjoy what you've seen. We've covered a lot of NBA content, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button to stay around and keep up to date on the latest content, transactions, whatever it may be. So thanks again for stopping by, and we will catch you in the next video.